Well, welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today is our completed sales video for CGC 9.8 comic books that we like to do here. An interesting time, I think, for the comic book market right now with, there's the COVID-19 thing going on, and then people are getting their stimulus checks in the United States as well. But at the same time, you think, a lot of people are kind of under some economic stress for sure. But I think what you'll see in some of the prices, especially for CGC 9.8 comic books, which is all the prices in this video here, you'll see that I think they're kind of heating up. And it's probably because of the stimulus checks, to be honest. And we'll get into some of the reasoning, certainly, when we go through all the prices here. Yeah, so I got some great books from the team, too. Yeah, a lot of, Team CGC 9.8 is active in the market. So, yeah, we got some books purchased by the team I want to share with everyone, too. So they're all CGC 9.8s, all US dollar prices too, and pretty much all the prices on all of our videos are US dollars, just to kind of keep it simple. I'll have a list in the description below too of all the comics and the prices that we'll talk about. If you do have any submissions, or if you're purchasing anything, or you see a complete listing out there that catches your eye, yeah, just let me know on Instagram. Yeah, usually on Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me, and then I most likely to put it on the video that way. So, okay, let's get into a full list of, a lot of great key issues that sold and some firming up prices, but then some decent deals. So, yeah, an interesting list here. First book is a team submission from team member Tomo, who got at me on Instagram, and he bought an Amazing Spider-Man 252 for $400 even. I think it was $399.99. So we'll go $400 even for a really nice looking Amazing Spider-Man 252. First black costume, Amazing Fantasy 15 cover homage. So collectible, yeah, really low like CGC 9.8 ratio on this one, so it's like pretty rare too. So this, for around $400 I would recommend this book. And this is kind of pulled back from when all those Spider-Man movies were coming out. This was kind of like $500-ish. So a book now that you can get that has been a higher price in the past, and a very collectible book. Yeah, so it was a new case too, direct edition, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I think that's a fair price. Yeah, maybe if you're really patient, you get it closer to $350, but for $350 to $400, fair price for this really collectible book. Roman had got to me on Instagram. He bought a Batman Adventures 12, huge key, first comic book appearance of Harley Quinn. I made a whole video on it saying that, wow, the prices were getting pretty juicy right now, and this is definitely a buyable book that's pretty rare in the CGC 9.8. So he paid $1,450 for a nice one in a new case. Showed me a picture of it, looking really nice for $1,450. And for me, collecting in the last 3 years here, seeing a lot of these go for like $1,800, $1,900. I'm sure some went for $2,000 too. When, Harley Quinn really heated up on the back of that Suicide Squad movie, kind of caught everyone off guard. So $1,450, a very good, I think, better than a fair price probably for Batman Adventures 12. He bought another book too, Roman, New Teen Titans number 2, the first appearance of Deathstroke, the Terminator, really classic DC book that I've talked about a couple times on these videos and recommended too. One I don't have, it's kind of eluded me, I guess, but, he grabbed one in an old case, a direct edition for $485, and usually you see these over $500 for the most part. So yeah, $485. Although in an old case, it was looking really crisp. To be honest, yeah, he had sent me pictures of both of these. So solid buys there by Roman of 2 like classic DC keys for absolute classic CGC 9.8's DC ones. So the next one here is from Keith on Instagram. Had messaged me. He let me know he got New Teen Titans number 2, same book, but in a new stand, in a new case. So kind of good to sort of compare. And I think both of these books are very good deals. He paid $515 shipped. So that's kind of looking more like about $500 even to me. In the newsstand version in a new case. So I think, again, see a lot of these go for over $500. I think if you can get anywhere around $500, especially in a newsstand version with a nice new case, I think that's great. So a good buy there for New Teen Titans number 2, first Deathstroke, the Terminator. And Steven had got to me on Instagram as well, this one. He bought a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 51 for $150 shipped. So that's kind of like, $135-ish to me, pretty much. So TMNT 51 is the first appearance of Jennika in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. She later becomes the first female Ninja Turtle, like the 5th member of the team. So, yeah, a book I've recommended here often as a really cool modern first appearance that is still kind of worth, I think, like, yeah, this is kind of $135 or $150 shipped is a great price, I think, for that book. So, all right, that's all the team submissions. Yeah, get to me, message me on Instagram if you are seeing any interesting completed listings or you make a big CGC 9.8 purchase, and hopefully I'll put it on the video. Did some research here and got a full list. So first book is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 in a 3rd print had sold. So wow, a book that I've sort of been on the lookout for, but you don't see many of these. There's 50 on the CGC census in the CGC 9.8 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the 3rd print. This sold for $1,325 just this morning too. Like, it was one of the first completed listings I did on my research. So yeah, I had this on my watch list, and it popped up maybe 2 days ago, and I thought, wow, $1,325 is a pretty decent price for this really rare book. Only 50 of them in the world. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 is so collectible. Obviously, the first print is so rare. The 3rd print's pretty rare too, and the 2nd print's very rare, actually, almost just as rare as the 1st print, to be honest, in the CGC 9.8. So, yeah, a 3rd print. I think I could have easily bought this. Yeah, this is a certainly viable book, and it sold pretty quick, probably in about 2 days. Yeah, and the CGC 9.8 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 3rd print for $1,325. Next book's Tale of the Teen Titans. Yeah, that's what it is. Number 44. The first appearance of Nightwing. And, yeah, Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing in this. And I think you get the origin of, like, Deathstroke the Terminator, so it's a really cool cover with him. This one, a newsstand in an old case. Saw one sell for $230. And that, I think, is pretty much a sort of bang-on fair value. Yeah, I see this going in that sort of $200 to $250 range. That, you know, a lot of kind of classic key issues go in that range, to be honest. And this is definitely a classic key issue. Yeah, Tales of the Teen Titans, number 44, first Nightwing. I saw an Omega Man #3, first Lobo. Yeah, we talked about this one on our a couple videos ago there, about some overlooked books. And this one went for $165. And that, I think, this one in a new case too, looking pretty good, and it was just a buy it now. So I think a reasonably priced buy it now. Because I think there's one in an auction right now on the internet that has like a day left, and it's at like 170 something. So yeah, sometimes you know, some buy it nows, you can still get really good deals on it. Yeah, that's a good price for the Omega Man #3, $165 for first Lobo. Next book is a really cool book. It's the Marvel Age number 90. So this is a McFarlane cover, and it previews Spider-Man #1, the McFarlane Spider-Man #1 that came out in the early 90s. And it was a newsstand version of that book, too, in a blue label. Yeah, I was watching this one, too, and it had really high shipping to Canada, because really would have considered purchasing this. It went for $227.50. Yeah, and I think I saw one of these go for around that price, and it was signed by McFarlane as well, but I'm not sure if that was the newsstand edition, so these are pretty rare. There's not too many of them in the CGC 9.8. It's kind of a cool, a lot of McFarlane fans really like this one, and I've talked about it on past videos. I kind of recommended it. One I don't have, though. Oh yeah, I brought up my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 51 and forgot to point to that, talking about it. So another cool book that is a bit out of my sort of circle of competence, I guess, with comic books, but it's Silver Surfer Black #1, and it's this one was signed by Clayton Crain. So this is a really cool, one of the most popular Clayton Crain covers, and he's quite popular with some of his variants, and I really like his variants too. Silver Surfer Black #1, signed by Clayton Crain, went for $189.99. In a buy it now too. And I was watching this one too. Had it on my watch list, and it was kind of the cheapest one signed by him. I think there's another one on eBay that's pretty super expensive, but I thought $189.99 was a decent price, and I was watching this one, and someone ended up buying it. So really cool, modern, yeah. Silver Surfer Black #1, signed by Crain. $189.99. A Batman 666 sold in an auction. I got a couple of those in the 9.8, so I probably should have brought out for sure too. But in an auction, cool to kind of see what one of these go for, to see what, you know, a good price would be. and it sold for $118.05. So I sort of mentioned in auctions, usually this one will go for like 90-ish. But $118.05, this one went for a decent looking one. In a new case, Batman 666. Yeah, it's the first Damian Wayne as Batman and the first Professor Pig. Yeah, a book I really like. I like the cover of it too. A What If Venom Possessed Deadpool sold in the CGC 9.8 in an old case in an auction. It was a Canadian auction too. I think this is a really good price for this. It sold for $340. I think because this auction was in Canada and it was in an old case, like, you maybe had some American buyers not participating, which maybe lowered the price a little bit. Because, yeah, a pretty decent price on this one. $340 for What If Venom Possessed Deadpool, CGC 9.8 white pages, in an old case, but still. NYX, number 3. Saw one of these sell in a CGC 9.8 old case as well. And this one ended up selling for $763 in an old case. So, yeah, that's a pretty fair price, I think, in an auction. That is kind of, I would say, the fair price, whereas a couple months ago I was seeing some of these sell for $650-ish, and that was a price I hadn't seen on this book in a really long time, so maybe a little bit of a bounce back on this book. A book I was watching sold. It's a Batman 436, first appearance of Tim Drake. I was watching this book, and it was a buy it now for $149.95, and it ended up selling. So a book, I got it in the CBCS 9.8. Probably one of my favorite, like, underfollowed Batman books to buy, like, first appearance wise. Still really affordable in the CGC 9.8. And I really almost bought this, like, a couple times. This exact one that ended up selling, the one I was watching for $149.95. Batman 436, CGC 9.8. First Tim Drake. Next one's an Uncanny X-Men 141, another one I was watching, and it was an auction, and I was really I have this book already in the CGC 9.8. This one was looking really good. Even it was in an old case though. It was a newsstand version too. I do kind of like to get the newsstands for some reason from this era of X-Men, but I was really thinking of bidding. Ended up going for $371. So a newsstand version of Uncanny X-Men 141 in an old case. $371. I paid $400 for mine, and it's in a new case. So pretty, and mine was sort of a negotiation, so I thought I was overpaying a bit, but that kind of seemed like pretty much a fair price right now. With an old case one in an auction going for $371. I saw Batman 404, so I got 2 of those in the CGC 9.8 Batman 404 and a CBCS 9.8 of Batman 404. Yeah, so a book that I've wanted to collect a lot of in the past couple years here. Saw one sell in an auction for $230.50. So this is definitely heating up because of the Batman movie. Robert Pattinson's a really young Batman. And there's some like year one vibes, even though it's like supposedly more like going to be like the Long Halloween. Batman 404 for $230.50. I purchased, one of mine was $109 and something in an auction. My CBCS 9.8 was $89 in an auction. And my other one I paid up a little bit, and I think it was like $140. So to see one go for $230.50, I was like, wow, in an auction. And I always thought, wow, this is such a classic Batman cover. And, just one that could easily go for around $200 was my original thinking when I was buying them for about $100. So, we'll see if this holds up still leading into this Batman movie. And, I mean, you never know. But nice to see one go for $230.50, Batman 404, CGC 9.8. Amazing Spider-Man 361. So yeah, I kind of put this out. Probably should have put this earlier in the list, but brought my newsstand one out. I got a direct too in the CGC 9.8. But with the Venom 2 teasers coming, and it's like Let There Be Carnage, I guess, is the new name of the new Venom 2 movie. So this book heated up. I was kind of excited to see some of the prices, and yeah, I think just based on this little announcement, so I saw a direct version go for $429.99, so $430 for a direct version. And I saw 3 newsstands sell, actually. One was $450, and 2 sold for $500. So this book here, $500. I purchased this one in an auction, and it was like $406. And I've known people getting the newsstand version of Carnage at like around $350 even. So that was sort of, I was sort of mentioning, even in the past 6 months here, you might want to take advantage of the lull in between Venom 1 and Venom 2. And now's the kind of time to buy Carnage comics back then. So now a lot of these teasers are starting to drop for both the Batman and Carnage now. So not really recommending to go out and pay $500 for, you know, a newsstand CGC 9.8 Amazing Spider-Man 361. Just, there's so many of them in this. It's an early 90s book. There's so many. So probably gonna, you know, now we're getting into that promotional phase that I don't really recommend to buy, you know, certain comic books. So prices heating up for Amazing Spider-Man 361. Certainly, I thought the time to buy was a couple months ago, but, you know, maybe be patient with that one. Another Carnage book, Carnage Mind Bomb, #1. Probably the most popular sort of one-off Carnage. I think it's the first one-off Carnage book, too, as well. This has sort of heated up, and like I remember when I first got into collecting, for some reason this heated up to like over 200, where many had sold like for like 230-ish type of thing. But one sold for $161.19. Carnage Mind Bomb #1, CGC 9.8, good looking one. And yeah, I think that's definitely toward like a fair price, like around $150, $160, I think, for that book. I saw an Eternals #1 in the CGC 9.8, so interesting. Yeah, this is one of those movies that I think was supposed to come out like pretty much now, but I think has been delayed, and I'm not sure the exact details, but I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of these going over $1,000 easy when all those announcements were sort of made, and again, that first promotional phase hit. But one sold, in my research this morning, saw one sell for $839 in a CGC 9.8, Eternals #1. And yeah, that's, you know, maybe with these movies not coming out, it could be a decent time if you like this book and some of these movies to pick up some of these books while they're in a bit of a lull with the whole COVID-19 halt to everything. So I saw a New Mutants 98 sell in a direct edition in an old case, sold for $800. So in a, you know, direct edition, was seeing a lot of the directs go for basically around $700 or under. And so to see this kind of perk up, you know, this could be some of the stimulus checks coming in possibly. I think some of the Carnage prices too, with that heating up, obviously because of the movies, but this sort of the stimulus checks are not hurting, I don't think, as well. What's another one here? Oh yeah, so the next one is a modern book that's really popular right now, Wolverine #1. It's the C2E2 variant with that yellow cover. It seems to be a really hot book right now, and I think it's a 1 of 3,000. So a limited print. Really hot cover right now. In a CGC 9.8 crisp new case, blue label, sold for $321. Yeah, Wolverine #1, the C2E2 variant. That's really popular right now with that yellow cover. $321. Like, that's a lot for, you know, something that's not really first appearance. And I get that the cover is cool, but I'm not willing. I think this is one to hold off on. Yeah, you know, 6 months to a year from now, not a lot of people will probably be talking about this Wolverine one. And I think you could do better than $321 on that. Okay, to wrap it up here, there's 3 Uncanny X-Men books. Yeah, so Uncanny X-Men 244, saw one sell. First Jubilee, CGC 9.8, looking pretty good. Kind of off-centered, like, I might be a little more picky on it personally. I probably wouldn't have bid on it. A lot of the back cover showing on this one from the front. It was $157.50. But this is a book, yeah, I've recommended on a lot of videos in the past as, you know, one that's kind of overlooked, I think, sometimes among X-Men first appearances. But Jubilee is a pretty iconic X-Men, so I think that's a cool one to get, actually. Next Uncanny book, Uncanny X-Men 221. First Mr. Sinister. So I saw one of these sell for $225. And maybe this book, you know, because this is sort of around the price that I was used to seeing when I first got into CGC 9.8 collecting. And then this book kind of cooled off where some of these rumors sort of went away that Mr. Sinister was going to be like a big villain in the next MCU phase or something. And then this book really went close to like $150, to be honest. $150, $160, saw a lot of auctions go for. So one sold for $225. You know, maybe it's the stimulus checks, or maybe this one's kind of perking back up. To where, yeah, like I said, the price used to be about 2-3 years ago. I used to see them go for $225 in a direct, and the newsstands were like $250, $275, $300 for First Mr. Sinister in the newsstand. Next one here, the last book on the list. Yeah, I got through a lot of prices here. An Uncanny X-Men 266. Yeah, first full Gambit, really classic cover. This one was pretty nicely centered too, so I'm not sure if maybe that has to do with it, because it went for a pretty high price, $450 in the CGC 9.8 white pages. Pretty nicely centered one. But I had saw some of these going in auction, let's call it 6 months ago, yeah, around Christmas, maybe a little bit before. Going for, you know, 310, 315, yeah, just over 300 for Uncanny X-Men 266. So, I don't know if there's rumors heating up, and I think there is, where possibly Gambit, I think, is maybe going to have a show or like a one-off thing. I'm not too sure, but $450, a little bit higher than I'm used to seeing for a direct version of Uncanny X-Men 266. First full Gambit. So that book seems to be heating up too. But, yeah, so that's a full list. All right. So interesting books. I mean, to see that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 third print, that's a book that I've said on past videos that, wow, that would be a great one to add. And it did pop up, and I was watching it right away. Like, I do search Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle CGC 9.8 quite often, so I was watching it, and not a lot of those sell, so it was hard to get like some final sales data, and that could be one that, you know, I might be thinking about in 6 months. Like, I should have bought the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 third print CGC 9.8 white pages for $1,325. But yeah, I'll have a full list of all of the books and their prices in the description below. But yeah, thanks so much for watching today. If you haven't already, I invite everyone to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8 and hit the bell to get all the latest notifications, and add me on Instagram and Twitter too. Yeah, all the links in the description below for that too. So yeah, I think, you know, still some decent deals to be had, but I think what's happening maybe is with the stimulus checks, every now and then a buy it now is being purchased for a pretty, you know, hefty price, I would say. So, you know, still some deals to be had. I don't think the market's like getting extremely hot right now or anything. Overall, though, just like the CGC 9.8 market for the last 2-3 months, there could have been something worse, a lot worse happening to it, given the conditions and everything with COVID-19 and everything. But I'm actually really happy with how the prices are hanging in there, and even now, I don't know if it's a stimulus checks, but they seem to be sort of at least bottoming out and then heating up. Like, yeah, certainly you see like a first Gambit go for $450, and all the Carnage books heating up, and but yeah, still some deal like the Batman Adventures 12 for below $1,500. That's a really great investment grade book at a great price right now. So there's still, you know, some buys that you can probably make for sure. So, all right, that'll be it for the video today. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for all the support. Keep sending your CGC 9.8 completed listings. Yeah, message me on Instagram, and got the link in the description to my Instagram. So yeah, definitely add me on Instagram. But thanks for watching today. I'll see you on the next one.